So I think, like you said, football has changed for sure from back then till what it is now. But one thing that remains is how a player overcomes adversity. And I think that moment of your time of your playing career where you mentioned that the injury was there, you did not have a contract as well. I think that for me is, if I was in your position, that is clear adversity. Where you don't have money coming in, and but you love the
Of
game
course,
so much.
of course.
So that part of adversity remains in today's sport as well, where it may not be contract related, but of course injuries remain. Sitting on the bench is an adversity for players. So as a player, right, what was your mental side? If you can give us a bit of your inputs on how you overcame that, because a lot of players today, whatever kind of adversity they face, I think they need to learn from incidents like these on how they can
Yeah.
overcome it.
You see, as I told you about my contract part, where I could have asked for more money and
Yeah.
I didn't do that. I was very shy. I wouldn't speak to, like how I'm speaking to you now. Those days, I would never do that.
Yeah.
It was only after when I got into the Indian team and a lot of reporters and all started talking to me. That's how I got open up.
Yeah.
From 95, then I went to Churchill and then I started speaking. I was not confident those days.
Yeah.
And then as you said, like, the pressure, like the contract. Now each player, every player, they will have 3 to 4 years, 5 years contract.
Yeah.
And those days we used to have only 1 year contract. No club will give you 2 years contract.
Yeah.
So you won't believe, we are playing first 11, we are in the national team, but still we are worried for the next season whether we'll get the contract or not. It used to, because if you see those days, few players used to be very careful towards the end of the season. If you get injured, you're not getting a contract.
Okay.
So those days, those thing also was there. We used to be careful towards the end of the season, but I never did that.
Yeah.
And then it was always a problem, like, because I already had an injury.
Yeah.
So it was not easy for me, yeah. And then the nature what I had, like when I joined Air India. So there what happened was, those days, we used to have a lot of pressure from the senior players. So I was guy who was always, I'll just do my work, reserved. I will just do my work and I'll just move out. So to get out of it, Air India, I was getting a job. They were giving me a very good job, which I didn't accept. Then all the banks were offering me job. Customs, they were asking me as an officer. But my aim was something else, and I wanted to play big clubs and play for the country. So that's when just to get out of this thing, like, I'm not opening up much, I need to get out of this to handle the pressure. That's when I wanted to change the club. So when I went to Churchill Brothers and all, the pressure is totally different, because there you have 25-30 players who are equally good.
Yeah.
And then you have to compete every day. Even the training session was, you have to give you 100%.
Yeah.
Because we had a foreign coach who was really good. He liked me a lot, and he helped me a lot after my surgery also. He helped me a lot. So to get out of all this thing, I said I don't want to, because those days most of the players used to take up job.
Yeah.
Because the contract was not big enough like how you get now.
Yeah.
So the first thing was job security. My parents was really worried about it, like, why I'm not taking up a job. I said, no, this is what I want to do, and I'm doing that only. Because I was confident, yes, I can do it. This is what I always tell the kids also. When you start believing in yourself, your parents will start trusting you. In the beginning, my parents didn't permit me. They wanted me to take up a job.
Yeah.
But when they saw me getting into the national team, getting big teams contract,
Yeah.
then they stopped worrying about me. But they were worried what after football.
Yes.
But I had made up my mind when I was playing for Mahindra. That time it was 98 I joined Mahindra. That's when I wanted to get into coaching.
Yeah.
That's when my second operation happened. And then I started reading the coaches, how how they take the sessions, how they speak, what they speak, the mental aspects. Then we had this Harish Rao, who was a team manager. Then he became the coach also. So he was a psychology student. So he used to handle the players in a very different way. I was under Bimal Ghosh. He was handling the players in a different way. He was more aggressive. Harish Rao was more, humble, and he was very polite.
Yeah.
He used to have more fun in the sessions. So more team bonding.
Yeah.
So all these things I started reading the coaches then. How they handle the players, how they handle the sessions, how they handle the match pressure.
Yeah.
So while playing, I started doing, because those days there was no license.
Correct.
All the coaches who were there were all ex-players. Only Mr. Naimuddin and Gabriel Joseph, they had, when our playing days, they had the license.
Yeah.
And they had done through AFF, and they have done from Europe, AFC or from Europe somewhere.
Okay.
They have done from Brazil and all.
Okay.
Because those days there was no license.
Yeah.
There was no license.
Yeah.
So that's how my journey began.
Okay.
So in 2004, when I joined Mohammedan Sporting, so we had this coach Biswajit Bhattacharya. So he was the guy who used to keep. He was very nice to me. I was the most senior player. Me, Raman Vijayan was there. One Ratan Singh was there. So he felt I can be a good coach. So he started educating me. Then he really convinced me to retire from football. He said, because Mohammedan Sporting was playing the second division that time, and I was the captain then, and we were the second division I-League champion, and I had scored some 5-6 goals. I was the highest scorer for a team. So he said, Moosa, this is the right time for you to leave, because you're living in a very high note.
Yeah.
Because you're in I-League, of course, I know you will work hard, you will come, but somewhere, you will suffer. So that's when I took his suggestion, because I used to respect him. So I did that. And now when we meet, I always tell him, you gave me the best advice, the right time. Yeah. And I'm able to do something in life.
Sure.
That's when we had been to one place in Chakradarpur. There I met one guy who wanted to do something in Bilaspur.
Yeah.
So that's how
your coaching journey started.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks for listening in. So much to learn and so much to absorb from that episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Catch us again on the DPDL Talent Development Podcast as we bring to you another episode with a leading expert. Until then, we'd love to hear from you. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or shoot us an email at developmentleague@doublepass.com.